What terrifying event is happening in the world right now that most people are ignoring? The birds are disappearing. Most likely because the bugs are, too. Here in the UK, water companies have been dumping tons and tons of sewage into our river systems and into the sea, making some beaches close. It is truly disgusting, and the whole water industry is in about 60 billion of debt and could collapse. The seals dying of avian flu in Chile. My country is on fire. It was also on fire a month ago, but then it stopped for a few weeks. Sweet baby Jesus, I should not have read this thread. Insect numbers are absolutely plummeting. There is about a 2.5% loss in terms of mass per year. Without insects, the food chain will collapse. The effects of this are already starting to be seen. Ocean currents slowing. Heat waves in India killing possibly thousands of people. It's not in the media anywhere and is probably also going on in other countries such as Mexico and southern US. A civil war and possible genocide going on in Sudan right now. No one cares, not even with the potentially thousands or maybe even millions of refugees this creates. Possible human health catastrophes incoming with all the poisonous and cancerous chemicals coming from microplastic, pesticides, and so many other beauty products we use daily, which scientists have been warning us about for decades. No one is interviewing these scientists anymore, writing about the problem anywhere, or even trying to find out what kind of actually health hazards will evolve from our careless use with all these chemicals constantly. You know, shit started to go downhill a little after we demoted Pluto. Well, good morning to you all too. What a depressing way to start the day. I am terrified. TBH, social media gave stupidity so much power that we are unable to listen or hear what scientists think about a thing. Basically, ignorance has never been so self-confident, and that makes me sad for this and every generation that is coming. Bacterial resistance. Due to the overuse of antibiotics and bacterial evolution, bacteria are able to develop itself and change its DNA and cellular structure to become immune to antibiotics. Now there are certain infections which can't be treated with the same antibiotics that were effective 10 to 20 years ago. In the near future we may return to pre-antibiotic age in which simple lung or urinary infections can kill us simply because we don't have effective antibiotics. Evidently the bees are dying out, and once they do, we're all fucked. Not a bee expert, maybe someone who is can explain further. Edit, article, explaining why honeybees aren't in danger, but other bees are. Also, I originally did look down the comments, but missed one of the top comments about insects, in general. Thanks for the replies and good information. Hope the links help. The massive destruction of our coral reefs. What's an addiction that people often overlook? News addiction. Outrage is an addiction. Some people seek it out, actively searching for a reason to hate their neighbors just so they can get their hit of dopamine. It feeds news addiction, tribalism, and eventually extremism. It's the source of so much violence, so many divided houses and ruined lives, but we do nothing to curb it. Shopping. I always laughed at the idea of video game addiction. It sounded so overblown until I met a guy who honestly defined it for me. We used to chat and hang out weekly. He quit his job and now just lives at home with his mum, mooching off her to sit in his room and play games for close to 16 hours a day. After refusing to hang out for long enough, I just gave up on him. Phone addiction, no explanation needed. When my depression is bad, I'd say sleep. It's a free, safe way to escape, but it ultimately feeds the depression, becoming a bad cycle. It doesn't sound that bad, but it's consuming. Edit, some people are confused, so I'll clarify. It's not because of lack of rest. It's not the sleep itself, it's the dreaming, aka escape. A different reality that feels very real and isn't this one. Maybe I'm just not explaining it right, but yet. Work addiction. Most people will say they dislike working extra, but the responsibility you feel towards your coworkers and the purpose work gives your life can make you work more than you should. Source: addicted to work. Junk food. Sugar. Soda. I am addicted to these things and wish I can break that habit. Social media addiction. Skin picking, aka dermatillomania. It's so overlooked that our society has glorified it. We have a show called Dr. Pimple Popper. WTF. Emotional abuse. Trauma bonds are fucking real. Staying up late for no reason than because you're afraid to miss out on anything. Food. Caffeine. Self-isolating due to social anxiety. It's not an addiction, I know, but it gets me high knowing how lonely I am and there is nothing I can do about it. I am not overweight or unattractive, but I love beating myself up about how socially inept I am. I am addicted to feeling sorry about myself, even though I am relatively good looking and in shape. Fuck. Fellow glasses wearers, do you keep your glasses on or off during sex, and why? No glasses on. Sex is a contact sport. I got those Horace Grant goggles with the strap for tip-off. Had a fling with a girl from work years ago. She always wore glasses, and only ever took them off when we had sex. It got to the point that I had a kind of Pavlovian reaction. When her specs came off, I got horny. She figured out what was going on, and sometimes at work she would take them off while we were in the same meeting, and just casually play with them in her hands, occasionally glancing over at me. Off, I like to plunge my face in her breast. On. Need to see the screen clearly. Everyone knows a chair made of glass is a bad idea. Off. My husband typically wears them to a certain point during sex, then when he takes them off it's my signal that things are about to get real intense, it's very hot. Off for the same reason I take my watch off, I don't want to injure my partner. Off. Glasses are expensive. Off, I like kissing and hugging them close while sexy time happens. Glasses get in the way of that. They also get in the way of going down. I'd rather not lose paid because someone has strong thighs. Depends if they match my socks or not. I take them off. 1. I look hotter. 2. I kinda don't wanna clean off of it. 3. I can see up close but not far away.